Hello and welcome to the Best and Worst Pictures podcast. I'm your host, Jake, and with me is Ian.
Ian Part 6.
And Mud.
The Last Mud.
Okay, that wasn't as funny as I thought it would be. What is this show, you might ask? Well, every so often we watch a Best Picture winner and decide one of the best or worst pictures among the other winners. And since the dawn of the Razzies, we know do the same for the worst pictures as well. This week we're discussing the 60th Best Picture winner ever, which is, of course, none other than the hit 1987 classic, The Last Emperor. And to start us off, Mud has some fun facts which Ian and I have not heard, so Mud, take it away.
Thank you, Jake. Now, The Last Emperor was released on December 18th? ?
Okay.
Now, let me immediately tangent here.
Break it down for
This
me.
is a bit unclear. The film wasn't actually even planned to be distributed in North America until filming was concluded. As for the release date, I'm going to read this straight from the Wikipedia article. The film had an unusual run in U.S. theaters. It did not enter the weekend box office top 10 until its 12th week, in which the film reached number 7, after increasing its gross by 168% from the previous week and more than tripling its theater count. This was the weekend before it was nominated for Best Picture.
Has that ever happened
I have
before?
no idea.
Where a film is like, yeah, we're 3 months in, 200% increase.
Definition of a sleeper hit, I will say.
Yeah, I mean, was it increased because the studio gave it more theaters or because people just saw it more?
A bit of both, it seems.
Interesting.
I mean, more people will see it if it has more theaters, in theory. But I think it sounds like it was both, because
Okay.
increasing theaters 12 weeks in does not necessarily mean a 168%.
Maybe they're like, oh, wait a minute, we got Oscars push? Give it everything it has.
I mean,
pretty
remember
much.
when they re-released Morbius? Like,
yeah,
that
they
didn't
made
work.
gangbusters.
Yeah, that's what caused it to win Best Picture.
$1 more billion.
You think I would just let that walk away?
So anyways, it has a runtime of 163 minutes. Now for reception, we're looking at a 7.7 IMDb, 86% Rotten Tomato critics, 88% Rotten Tomato audience, 8.1 Metacritic audience score, 76 Metacritic critic score, 3.9 out of 5-star average on Letterboxd, and the critics' consensus reads Bernardo Bertolucci's decadent epic never quite identifies the dramatic pulse of its protagonist. Stupendous visuals and John Lone's ability to make passivity riveting give The Last Emperor a rarefied grandeur.
Every single thing you just said was 80%, 80%, 80%, 80%, basically.
Was that the Rotten Tomatoes consensus?
That's the critics' consensus on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's a long, meaty paragraph.
It's a sentence.
A lot of words. A lot of big boy words.
Jake, when there's a word bigger than 3 syllables.
Well, that
I don't
guy
know
definitely
this one.
said, like, this movie is very good, and then just thesaurused out every single fucking word in the
We'll
sentence.
get into it. Now, let's get into that director, Bernardo Bertolucci. He's also known as the Once Upon a Time in the West writer, not director, and he also directed The Last Tango in Paris from 1972. Now, for a fun asterisk fact about him, in 2009, he signed an appeal to the Swiss government to release Roman Polanski before he was extradited to the United States.
That's such a fun fact.
That's not a fun
We
fact.
all
forgiving
support
rapists
Polanski,
and pedophiles.
his personal life, not the films.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Is this guy Italian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
His name is Alfredo fucking Pasta Man.
His name
You're
is
like, what is
Bernardo
his name?
Bertolucci.
His name is fucking Chicken Alfredo Fettuccine. And
You
I'm
guys,
the most
Fuck
Italian
you
guy
guys.
on the planet.
I hate you
Dog.
guys. This was this for the record. This was a joint British and Italian production.
Okay.
So there's going to be a lot of fucking Italian names going
Hell
forward.
yeah.
Britain was just an executive producer. Italy made the film.
Fucking. Now let's get into the cast. First up, we have the lead, John Lone. He's also known for King Kong, 1976, Year of the Dragon, 1985, and Rush Hour 2, 2001.
What an eclectic thing of films.
He retired from acting in 2007.
What a guy.
Mm-hmm.
He peaked with Rush Hour 2. I guess Rush Hour 3 is not in his wheelhouse.
Now, next up, we have Peter O'Toole,
Oh, okay.
Hey.
known for Troy, 2004, and Stardust, 2007.
Straight up did not know he was in this. I love that guy.
Yeah, so I'm this fun fact is actually a continuation of your Lawrence of Arabia fun facts about him.
Okay.
You guys discussed that he is the most nominated man to never win an Academy Award, I believe.
Yep.
Now, he was actually given an honorary Academy Award in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, O'Toole refused the award. He wrote directly to the Academy in protest, stating that he was, quote, still in the game. And he basically saw it as like a consolation prize.
Sure.
He only agreed to accept it after his children told him to. He later joked that he was, quote, the biggest loser of all time due to never actually winning an Academy Award.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
Now, our last member of the main cast is Joanne Chen, also known for Judge Dredd, 1995, Diddy, 2024, not the rapper.
Okay.
And the Twin Peaks series / franchise. She's been in the movies. She's been in the shows.
Cool.
Now, a fun fact about her, she is from China, and she was raised during the Cultural Revolution of the, that. And she was actually discovered for acting by Jian Jing, the wife of Mao Zedong.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the funnest fun fact to ever fun fact.
Yeah, I know. Now, other major films that came out this year include, but are not limited to, The Princess Bride, Spaceballs, Full Metal Jacket, Predator, RoboCop, Fatal Attraction, Dirty Dancing, Empire of the Sun, The Untouchables, The Running Man, Adventures in Babysitting, Lethal Weapon, Masters of the Universe, Moonstruck, Hellraiser, Wall Street, Overboard, Raising Arizona, The Living Daylights, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, Leonard Part 6, Slave Girls from Beyond Infinity, Three Men and a Baby, Good Morning Vietnam, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Monster Squad, Flowers in the Attic, Broadcast News, Harry and the Hendersons, Jaws the Revenge, Hope and Glory, Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, Ernest Goes to Camp, Dragnet, Amazon Women of the Moon, and The Garbage Pail Kids.
All right, can I say?
So towards the end, you got some really funny titles, but
Yeah.
I've seen almost every single one of those.
I've seen a lot of these films.
I know. We've all seen Amazon Women of the Moon.
I just want to say right now that I know The Last Emperor won because we're watching it, but Good Morning Vietnam.
I know.
Not even nominated.
That's the
Not
one
even
nominated.
nominated.
is a joke.
It's my favorite Robin Williams film.
It's up there.
Jumanji. I'm a bitch. I'm a basic bitch. I love
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Well,
I
you
totally
guys know
agree.
Dead Poet Society is my favorite.
Ooh, no. You know what? Ian makes a good point. I'm going to say Jumanji is my favorite comedy, and that's my favorite drama. From
Yeah,
him.
Jack is my favorite.
Vietnam is the best one.
All right. I do a mixture of popular movies, and then also just I find movies that have really funny fucking titles.
And then some
Yeah.
shit bags are in there too.
Oh yeah,
Garbage
Dude,
Pail Kids, dude.
If you think I'm not going to highlight every single Nightmare on Elm Street or fucking what
Jason
movies?
X.
Yeah, Jason movie.
Let's go.
If you think I'm not naming every single one. Now, let's
so
get
up
into some
here.
production facts. Roughly 19,000 extras appear throughout this film.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. This was also the first Western film produced about China, in China, and with the full consent and cooperation of the Chinese government since 1949. This was also the first movie to film in the Forbidden City, but it wasn't the first project ever. That honor goes to the 1973 documentary, The Forbidden City.
Makes sense.
Yep. The Emperor's younger brother was brought on as an advisor to the film. Originally, Bertolucci wanted to cast Sean Connery as Reginald Johnson, O'Toole's role. Connery himself convinced Bertolucci not to cast him. William Hurt and Marlon Brando were also considered for the role. In a scene involving Buddhist llamas, the film crew were told that women were not allowed to handle the llamas, so they had to hire extra hands for the wardrobe department so that guys could handle the llamas.
That's weird.
Security on the set was so tight that one day when Peter O'Toole forgot his ID at home, he was denied entry to the lot. And this was the first film to be rated PG-13 at the time of its release to win Best Picture, not counting all the films that have been retroactively made PG-13.
Okay.
I believe, when did Temple of Doom come out? 83?
83 or 84.
84, I think.
Yeah, so not that surprising. It's 2 or 3 years later.
Makes sense.
Now, on to the awards show. It was hosted by Chevy Chase. This was the first time that all Best Director nominations were born outside the U.S. Michael Douglas became the second person ever to win both Best Actor and Best Picture, having previously won Best Picture for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Banger.
Eddie Murphy presented Best Picture. He was only 27 years old at the time. He is the second person to present the award under the age of 30. The first was Audrey Hepburn, who presented it to Marty. Entering the night with 9 nominations, The Last Emperor was the most nominated film of the night. Leaving with 9 wins, a clean sweep, The Last Emperor was the most awarded film of the night. The last film to win 9 awards, Gigi.
Wow.
Fucking garbage.
Yeah. So
Wow.
let's move on to awards nominated. So let's move on to awards won. Bill Rowe and Ivan Sherrick won Best Sound. Ryuichi Sakamoto, David Byrne, and Kong Su won Best Original Score. James Archison won Best Costume Design. Vittorio Storaro won Best Cinematography. Ferdinando Scarfiotti, Art Direction. Bruno Cassiari and Osvaldo Desideri, Set Decoration, won Best Art Direction. Mark Peplow and Bernardo Bertolucci won Best Screenplay based on material from another medium. Peplow, fun fact, Bertolucci's brother-in-law.
It's a bad year for John Smiths, huh? They're
Yeah.
not going to get anything.
Yeah. Gabriele Cristiani won Best Film Editing. Bernardo Bertolucci won Best Director. And, of course, it won Best Picture, beating Broadcast News, Hope and Glory, Moonstruck, and Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction's a good movie.
Yeah.
So
Not good enough, apparently.
here's my 5 films that I would nominate for this year.
Predator, Running Man.
Predator and Running Man are on there, okay? Thanks, Mud. Good Morning Vietnam.
Yes, number
banger. Predator, banger. Running Man, cheesy, but I love it so much. Fatal Attraction is a really good film, and I think I would probably keep it on there just because it's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
But no, man. Listen.
If
you
I
said Running Man, and I went, Running Man for me?
if I had to, I'd say like Wall Street, The Untouchables, like those didn't end up on
Wall
there.
Street is heat.
Wall Street's amazing,
Yep.
you know.
I'm a big Wall Street money never sleeps kind of guy.
That has Shia LaBeouf in it.
I'm joking.
It's not a
I've
bad
wait,
movie.
didn't the guy
never,
last-
I've
pretty sure
never
the-
seen that film.
The guy last week directed it, I think, or the last episode, Oliver Stone.
Yeah, he did. It's not a bad movie.
No, it's great.
It's just
I've never
not
seen
Wall
it.
Street.
I want to say one more thing before we unfortunately switch to waterboarding the film version. When you said Audrey Hepburn presented to Marty, I was like, who the fuck is Marty? The film! Marty!
Yeah, the
I-
film,
my brain was like,
1955.
all right, what's his last name, Mud? I
the-
forgot.
Yeah, the Best Picture winning film, shortest Best Picture winning film, Marty.
Yep, we are barreling at Mach speeds towards the end of the 80s. And might I suggest, Driving Miss Daisy, not the best one that year. Third shortest one in the Best Picture series.
Dude, that is so painful.
Marty's number 1, it's like 90 minutes.
There are so many long movies in the 80s. Sorry,
Yeah,
I
there
just need
are.
to complain for a
Yes,
second.
please. They're way too long. A lot of them. Deer Hunter
don't-
was
I
in the
don't know.
70s. Never mind.
Yeah, it was 79, spiritually.
Spiritually an 80s film.
It won in the 80s, therefore.
I think
Shot.
Kramer was 79.
Oh, no,
I
you're
think
right.
we're
It
all
was
fucked
Kramer,
up.
Kramer.
Look, point is, Driving Miss Daisy is super short, so I'm excited.
I think Deer Hunter
Last
was 78.
Emperor. Look, The Last Emperor is 2 Driving Miss Daisies long. All right, is
Yeah,
it
it was.
worth it?
Oh, that is so
I don't
many
know.
Driving Miss Daisies.
There's multiple Driving Miss Daisies.
So many movies in the 80s are so How long was that at Africa? Like 3 years?
The 4 years?
But you know what? Except for Kevin Costner's Postman and Blonde, all the worst pictures are like 90 fucking minutes. So I got that going for me.
Why
Let's
did
go.
we? I hate that we started doing the worst pictures.
Speaking of worst pictures, Jake, don't you have a thing to introduce real quick?
Oh, God, Ian trying to get off of the subject.
It's like, let me do my bit.
We will also, unfortunately, be watching this year's worst picture, Leonard Part 6. And to start us off, Ian has some fun facts, one I have not heard. So, Ian, take it away.
Didn't even introduce me.
Ian-
to Ian Part 6.
I have a
That's
question.
crazy.
I have a question for you, Ian.
Yeah?
Could you maybe keep it so I never have to learn these fun facts?
No.
No.
So Leonard Part 6 has a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
I think that might be 7% too high. We're not sure yet. You guys were just talking about length. Looked it up. 85 minutes long. Not a film. Not a film.
Bro.
Not a
Whenever
film.
a film has a single-digit Rotten Tomatoes, I know
gotta
it's going to be heat.
It's
It's
gotta
going to be a banger.
If your movie is sub 90 minutes, it's got to be really fucking good.
It better be.
I just saw The Woman in the Yard.
It's an hour and 25
with credits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
How long was Jonah Hex?
Shorter than that because it's 13 seconds long. Guys, I'm doing a new thing. We're playing budget and box office. First.
No!
Budget
Okay.
and box office right now.
Budget 10 million, most of which is his salary. Box office 20.
I'm going to go lower. I'm going to say the budget was 7 and the box office was 18.
All right, you guys didn't even get the budget combined.
Wow.
Budget 24 million.
You got a serious payday for
Box
that one.
office 4.6. It made no dollars.
By the way, quick tangent. Jonah Hex is 4 minutes shorter.
Yeah, exactly.
With credits.
With
So,
credits.
fun fact, you know how most of these, I'm like starring and then I name one guy? We have a treat today. It's not just one guy, but Bill Cosby is here. You may know him from such things as Fat Albert the Show, Fat Albert the Movie, Little Bill, Jack, Meteor Man, Ghost Dad, and lastly by his own sexual assaults and allegations Wikipedia page.
Woohoo!
Woo!
That one's self-explanatory. Also starring Joe Don Baker. That name should sound familiar to you guys.
Wasn't he in a Bond movie?
He's in Fletch, Mars Attacks, ! Joe Dirt, Dukes of Hazzard, Mud. He's the annoying American guy in GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies.
yes.
Yep. We hate this guy. He is in the film. And lastly, Gloria Foster. We should also know this person. She's in The Matrix Resurrections, The Matrix Reloaded, and The Matrix. She's the Oracle.
Yo, what?
Which one?
The original one.
The original Oracle.
Oh,
She
because
is in the
Resurrections
fourth
uses
one
the footage.
Yeah,
as
archival.
Oh,
the
I was like,
footage.
no way.
Yes, the archival footage. She
my
is the
God.
Oracle.
She's the Oracle.
Yes. Absolutely awesome.
She's in Leonard Part 6.
She's in Leonard Part 6, yes.
I just want to clarify one thing because I think you might be thinking of the wrong character in James Bond. Ian, are you thinking of the racist sheriff? Yeah, no, that's Roger Moore era.
Yeah, but
Different guy.
Yes, but Joe Don Baker. I know exactly what guy I'm talking about.
I just want to make sure you're
Yes.
thinking of the right
I'm
American.
thinking of a different American, but he is
don't-
there.
No, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you're not thinking of
Yeah, yeah.
you're that secret agent feller guy.
Yeah,
'Cause
no, he
sucks.
sucks.
He does suck.
Sergeant Pepper or some shit.
Sergeant Pepper, that's the Beatles album.
I think that's his name.
Probably, maybe. So, guys, I have my fun facts about this film. According to the opening sequence of the film, the title refers to the idea that the film is the 6th installment of the series of films which feature the adventures of Leonard, with parts 1 through 5 concealed in the interest of world security. In reality, no Leonard films precede this one.
That's really funny.
really obvious.
Actually.
But I like that that's classified information.
It's classified information. It made me laugh.
So Leonard Part 6 isn't classified?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
This one's fine to throw to the public? 9%
So,
Rotten Tomatoes, whatever?
The movie is so good that Cosby denounced it and disowned it in the press leading up to its release.
Ooh, it's never good.
That's a great sign.
Cosby said that he was so disappointed that he advised publicly people shouldn't waste their money on it.
Oh, man.
Maybe that's why it pumped.
How do you do that? You know, like, damn.
Speaking of Cosby, he got the idea for the film while watching. I want you guys to guess what film Bill Cosby was watching that got the idea for Leonard Part 6.
Ghost Dad.
That didn't come out yet. Okay.
It's a Bond. Is it Bond?
No.
It's not
What?
a Bond.
Is it a film we have already watched for this series?
Part of it.
Part of it.
Yes.
What do you mean by part of it?
It is adjacent to a film we have already watched for the series.
Rocky 4.
Rambo.
One?
He got the idea for Leonard Part 6 after watching Rambo.
How?
Yeah, I just
Let
watched
me tell you how.
I just watched Teletubbies movie like The Dark Knight.
Let me tell you how. He said, man, there's got to be a place for a hero who has to deal with a heavy who's got a bigger gun than he has. Cosby described the lead as a high-tech comic book character. He said, I've put in stuff for the women, I've put in stuff for the kids. Damn right you're putting in stuff for the women, Bill. Anyways,
Wow.
asked years later about the work, director Paul Whelan recalled, it was a terrible mistake. When anyone gets into that position of power, which was Bill Cosby's position of power in the 1980s, because he was huge, they are surrounded by sycophants, and no one tells them the truth. Cosby wasn't funny. I couldn't tell him that directly. I'd tell him it feels slow. He'd say, you worry about the construction, let me worry about being funny.
Said the guy who disowned the film before it came out. Wow, that's kind of rude. Like, why would you be the guy who's like, no, I have a creative vision, it's gonna be so good,
Don't
and then
disagree that Cosby's not that funny.
his comedy's great.
Some of his comedy specials were funny.
He's really,
but-
really good.
Like the weird, shticky, schlocky stuff is not as funny. And you're
His
not
acting
wrong.
roles are extremely questionable.
I liked Lil Bill as a kid.
I liked Little Bill as a kid as well.
I like Kids Next Door, the guy doing an impression of Bill Cosby as the
Yeah.
parent. That was great. But
And lastly,
Oh, so
the-
like Kids Next Door.
film that it beat for Worst Picture
Oh yeah, hit us.
include Who's That Girl? Tough Guys Don't Dance, Jaws the Revenge, and Ishtar.
I'm glad that
Wow.
I continue the tradition of keeping at least one nominee of the worst pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I've never heard of those. Ishtar, I think I've heard of.
Who's That Girl has Madonna in it. I know that
That's
for a fact.
self-explanatory.
I know that for a fact.
And then Jaws the Revenge.
Tough
obviously.
Guy, we
Madonna-
all know what Jaws the Revenge is. I'm not going to talk about that one.
Has Madonna ever been in a good movie?
Tough Guys Don't Dance has people I've never heard of in it. Ishtar, I think, also has Madonna in it, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
I repeat my
no,
question.
that's the Warren Beatty, Dustin Hoffman film.
What?
Yeah.
That's why I know that.
Yes, it's the it's like a weird adventure comedy where they go to the desert and they're in like the Cold War.
Do they go quip?
Yeah, the movie do go quip, yes.
Movie go quip. I love movie go clip.
Me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Leonard Part 6, I'm actually like
Don't say you're excited.
Pumped.
No,
He's-
you're
he's
not.
Big jazz.
Stop lying.
I'm
so excited.
Stop fucking.
He's
This
gonna
is
love this movie. I'm
This is
telling
one
you.
of the ones.
Lying.
This is one of the ones I've been the most excited for, just because I know it's gonna be maybe the most dog shit, and I love that.
It does look really, really bad.
But
All
it looks
right.
bad in a fun way.
Let's get started.
All right,
We'll
so
see you guys for the fucking review of The Last Emperor.
part 6.
Leonard Part Emperor.
So we just watched The Last Emperor and also Leonard Part 6. How do we feel?
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. My first note, to start off the interesting, nuanced discussion here. Cute animals.
Yeah.
My first note was train.
Mine was I would recognize Shang Tsung anywhere
Yeah.
because I did in fact recognize Shang Tsung.
I remember as soon as the movie started,
You were in the other room.
I took a brief pee while the title credits were popping up, and I just hear Ian through the shut door, Shang Tsung is in this! Why didn't you tell me in the fun facts?
You should have said it in the fun facts.
I didn't say it because he's not one of the lead roles, and I felt like the other three were more interesting actors and actresses to talk about.
No.
And as the credits were rolling, I said, "Hey, Ian, look, it's what's his name, Hiroyuka Tagawa."
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
Something
and I
like
was like, "Look, it's Shang Tsung," and Ian got so mad at me.
He didn't mention it in the fun
I
facts.
offered you a gift, and you spit in my face.
I'm just gonna get right into the big main point that I think we all agree with. Long ass runtime breezed by.
Yeah,
it
it
is
was
not
actually
a
well-paced.
boring movie. It's
No, not at
very
all.
engaging.
This was a very, very good film.
It
I
was-
was like, I remember at one point I asked you how much time is left, and you said 40 minutes, and I didn't believe you.
I know. I
And
was
that
blown
feels
away.
like we had that conversation maybe 10 minutes ago.
This is what I would call a slow burn. It's
Yes.
slow paced. It never lets up. It's so interesting. You're never bored. It's just a great fucking movie. And it's a slow burn. It's not a fast paced movie, but it feels fast. And that's what's so impressive about it.
I am impressed by how much this movie can show. It jumps around in time a lot, and it is what it says on the tin. It's about the Last Emperor. What about the Last Emperor? Everything. His whole life, from the moment he took the throne, effectively to the day he died. And I find that to be so amazing because so many biopics about people where like the whole premise is it's just about their life can really fall apart from like not having enough runtime to show everything. I think this is a good showcase of like you can make a good biopic that is just someone's life, but you need time.
Yes, absolutely. And they spent it very well. I want to talk about this movie in the context of we were just talking about movies like Out of Africa, right? We talked a lot about people whose lives are not interesting enough to make a movie about.
Yes.
This guy's life was.
Fascinating.
Yeah, very interesting.
This story of this guy's life and like the quote unquote untold, because the very end of the movie kind of makes that clear where it's like he barely gets any legacy.
Oh my God, such a we'll talk about that, but such a great scene
Great scene.
and such a sad scene.
Yep, there's a story worth telling here, which is funny because, like, Out of Africa, I mentioned. I love the wide shots in that one, too. I mentioned here I love the wide shots in this
good
one.
Lord.
But the wide shots are in the context of a very great movie where I'm invested to see what happens next.
Not only that, the wide shots, I would argue, serve a purpose. There's a really good shot towards the beginning of the movie when the milk nurse is being taken away. Amro, I think her name was.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, wild that kid was still nursing at like 8.
Yep,
But, you know, we'll get into what the implications of that are
sure.
further down the line. But there's this great shot where he finds out his wet nurse is being taken away, and he's running out to go get her, and there's this huge wide shot of the Forbidden City, and then from the side you just see this tiny little figure start running across the field, and it makes you realize the scale of everything, but it also
Yes.
like really frames up Puyi like really well of just like, oh my God, like he might be the quote emperor of China end quote, but he's not. He's just a little kid.
It's funny because the movie starts out where he is the most important person in the entire movie, and it's implied the entirety of China,
Yep.
until he progresses a little bit longer. And by the end of the movie, right before the very end, he's like basically the least important. Nobody gives a shit about him and his life and his legacy. and anything.
When one of the soldiers asks him, "Who are you?" he just says, "I'm a gardener."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. What's he gonna say? I'm the emperor of fucking China. The
Yeah.
soldier would be like, get out.
Sure, man.
They
Sure,
would
man.
have shot him instantly because no, that's Mao.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually not allowed.
And supreme leader. Thank you, Ian. No,
Yeah.
they don't have an emperor. They don't have one of those dictators anymore.
Yeah, supreme leader and dictator are so different.
Yeah,
Incredibly different.
it's almost like cults of personality always end up the same.
Yep.
Anyways,
Which is kind of what the last like 20 minutes of the movie are about.
yeah,
It's kind of
That's
interesting.
what a lot of the movie's about.
it is.
Yes, it does build to that, yeah.
But
Because
back,
even when he gets his chance to be,
an actual emperor,
boy, he takes it.
Yep. Puppet emperor.
puppet emperor to the extreme. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to talk about the very beginning of this movie when he's still a kid. I really like that scene where his little brother's like, "You're not actually the emperor of China. You know that, right?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's such a powerful scene because up until that point, the film opens with a title card. Ian, I know you love those.
Yeah.
That says 1908. But like the way that everyone is dressed and everyone is presenting themselves, like, is it 1908? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I know obviously like places progress differently in different paces, but like to see like this, you could show you could show a random person this scene that is labeled 1908. If you take away that title card and you were to ask them, "Hey, what year do you think it is in this film?"
The
They'd probably
Edo
guess, like, the
period.
16 or 1700s.
Yeah.
You know. And I really like that because Puyi lives in this area with all these like kind of more, I'm going to say, traditional,
Yeah.
like ancient looking clothing, ancient looking traditions. And then his brother's like, yeah, the actual emperor has a car. And then he climbs up over the wall and you see a modern for the early 1900s,
Yep.
modern military and a modern car and a modern general driving by. And it just hits you. It hits you that like this forbidden city that Puyi is living in is a time capsule.
Yeah.
And he is being held there.
We'll talk about the things that I didn't like for a second. All right. So anyway, the things I liked the most are that kind of, he feels trapped in the beginning, and as he slowly acclimates and gets himself settled, when it's time to leave, he goes, "Ah, shit." I love that. I really love.
Oh, like when he's a teenager?
Well, when he's getting kicked out.
Yeah.
I think he's 20, 21.
He's
I
somewhere
think.
around there.
Yeah, where he spends his whole adolescence trying to escape and quote rebel from it, and then he accepts it a little bit, and then when it's time to leave, he goes, "This is all I know,"
Yep.
and he's scared. Even later on in the film, where he says, "I've never been separated from my family," and the guard goes, "You'll learn."
Mm-hmm.
It's a really interesting dynamic that he has with the Forbidden City,
Mm-hmm.
where he wants to escape, can't leave mentally because it's like the only place he's ever been. He's felt trapped. It's almost like Stockholm Syndrome a little bit, to be quite honest with you, because he wanted to leave, and now it's the only thing he's ever known. It's the only thing that he has for home. And then he slowly loses all of that throughout the film with his first wife, or his second wife, quote, and then he loses his, I guess, Chinese citizenship. He gets exiled. He has to go to Japan, and then he loses his first wife, and then he loses his title as quote puppet emperor of Manchuria.
It's
All the film is about this guy's struggling and his loss.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I really like that he introduces himself at the end. He goes, "I'm a gardener." That's all he is now. It's
Mhm.
that slow progression, slow burn of loss. It's really well done. It
Yes.
is incredibly well done.
It's a psychological breakdown for this guy.
Yeah.
Because like in the scenes when he's a kid, he's like, "I'm the emperor. I can do whatever I want."
Mm-hmm.
It's great. He makes a guy drink ink at one point.
Yeah.
Like probably kills him, or at the very least causes major fucking health complications. And I think that's such a great exploration of like power dynamics in those scenes, because like whenever the king's acting up, the servants are like, "Oh, please don't do that," but they can't touch him, they can't like tell him no,
Mm-hmm.
because he's the emperor. And I think it's a fascinating like search of that power dynamic of like, what do you do when you're all powerful king who by mandates from heaven or whatever are allowed to do and say anything, but that power is vested in a flippant child,
Literally a toddler. Yeah.
literally a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, and like you have all these grown men, all these eunuchs just chasing him around, not willing to touch him or tell him no, but like they need to try to basically wrangle this kid who's effectively a wild animal to them.
Yeah, he's petulant.
Yep. Peter O'Toole is my favorite character in the movie. The only reason he's not nominated for acting is because he's not in enough of it to justify a nomination.
Yeah.
Because he's in a lot of kind of the end of the first act leading into the second, and then he has one more scene later on. And I love that scene, and we'll talk about why later, but I really loved him in this movie. All right, I'll put it this way. I loved the first half of this movie. I enjoyed the second half. I liked all of it. I loved this movie so much. I liked the first half better. For me, I think that's because the second half had a Peter O'Toole-sized hole in its heart. It was glum to show like a purpose, like, you know, a dark, gloomy context, as opposed to the first half's more like bright, colorful, I guess optimistic version. But I don't know. I did enjoy the main character in his journey. It had a lot to say, but there wasn't a character like O'Toole to keep me, I missed him. In simple context, I just fucking missed him. He was fantastic. I want to talk more about the themes of that too, but how'd you guys feel about like each half of the movie?
I like them both for different reasons.
I like them both for different reasons as well.
I would agree with that.
I think the two best parts of this movie are the shot selection and the soundtrack.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree. The cinematography in this film is fantastic. There are some beautiful shots. I know there's one scene where like the Emperor and a bunch of kids are playing in the Forbidden City, and there's this huge banner of cloth that kind of like swoops down from the ceiling and then goes back up. And there's this great tracking shot when all the kids like line up on the cloth, and it just pulls back and up as if it's riding up the seam of the cloth, and you're looking down on everything from the edge of the cloth, and it's just so.
And the other
fucking
half
pretty.
of what Ian just said, the soundtrack is very underrated. Case in point, I didn't even think about it until he said that, and I was like, oh yeah, it bumped. It super fit every single scene it was used in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The ones where
Excellent.
it wasn't used was perfect for not having used it.
Yep.
And
The use of sound in this film is, quite frankly, impeccable. Very good ambiance, very good. It just works.
it does.
Every part of it works. Where there's supposed to be music,
We don't
there's
need the
music.
TV on.
Where there's supposed to be that, like, I don't want to say ancient feeling, but that traditional feeling, it's playing more traditional style. When it's in the modern, it's playing its modern style. When he thinks back to the times where he was there, it still plays that traditional style again. Everything harkens to a specific point, and they do an excellent job utilizing what is playing when it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It always encapsulates what's going on. It's deliberately silent during dead parts where he's trying to cope with things, or when he's in the prison, like that, like deliberate silence is excellent.
Yeah, I don't really know if they played any music while he was in prison.
No, not really.
Yes.
Unless when he
It might have been diegetic.
Yeah, there was some diegetic, like little bits, but it was only when he was thinking about other things, or like the pondering of times past. Like, I think it's really well done. That's part of the biggest strengths for me, is that, and the shot selection and the lighting. There's a lot of
the
really good
lighting.
lighting scenes in this movie. The thing that I'm thinking the most is when they're in that Japanese emperor room, and it has like the blue windows with like the warm lighting over the desk. Like the background is so, it's literally like bright blue shimmering in through the windows. It's very interesting. That's the scene from the movie that I've seen prior to the film, because I recognized that like style of light. It was excellent.
You know what's
beautiful?
You know what's actually insane? Now that I'm thinking about it. So up until this point, every single Best Picture we have watched, there's been one moment where I go, oh, I've seen this scene before. Because I'm pretty sure, like I've said in the past, I'm pretty sure I must have watched like a one scene from every Best Picture winner video on YouTube one time.
Yep.
I didn't recognize a single scene in this movie.
Yay!
I was the one who did it this time.
Yeah.
Because I've also watched the same video.
It's probably, but like, I'm not kidding. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is just the one I forgot, which is crazy because I went like, about 52, because I missed a couple, 52 in a row of going, oh, I've seen the scene before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've still done it, I think, every film, as far as my recollection, or I've seen the film. No, this movie is... The acting's really good, too. Even the child acting isn't anything to play with. It's
So,
actually pretty solid.
I think I want to segue that into another conversation I want to have. The teenage version of Pui Yi, I think, is my favorite version.
I think I agree. I'm thinking back on all their interpretations, all their iterations of his life and stuff like that. It's either him or it's the oldest one at the end.
Yeah,
we'll
I
get
like,
there.
I like adult Puyi a lot.
I like adult Pui Yi, but I don't know. There was just something about the way that teenager presented himself. Like, he just really captured the idea of, like, this kid who has grown up knowing he's the emperor his whole life, effectively. But only now is he starting to understand what it means to be an emperor. And, like, the struggle of, like, it's a battle for his soul, effectively, between Johnston, played by Peter O'Toole, and the eunuchs. And you can see, like, deep down, he does want to be a good man, whatever that means. Like, he's trying to understand what it means to be an emperor.
Yep.
And I really feel like he captured that the best, because older Pui Yi was more about just, like, the fallout of, I'm not emperor anymore, what do I do now?
Yep.
Which are two again, this is why I say the film has two different halves.
Yep.
You know, that are why you brought up there being two different halves.
There are two distinct
halves,
yeah.
is what I'm trying to say. But I feel like how I said both are good for different reasons. The first half is good for, like, this kid trying to figure out, like, how do I be a good emperor? How do I earn this title that I've been told I am just allowed to have? You know, and he's still, like, a shithead teenager most of the time.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely.
Like, he's still making mistakes, but, like, it's really good to watch. And, like, you just have, like, these beautiful moments, like the scene where he's just hanging out with his two wives in bed. And,
the threesome
like,
scene?
yeah, the threesome scene.
Good scene.
It's great, and it's not just because threesome. It's like,
No, it's like he's finally
it's like,
embracing.
yeah, something like, it's just a beautiful, like, quiet moment of, like, he's just having a good time in his life. He's in love with these two girls. These two girls love him. And then the storehouse burns down, and everything from there just gets worse.
I was literally about to say, I think the threesome scene is, like, the last time he was genuinely that happy
Yeah.
in the entire movie.
Yeah. Like, that was, like, he didn't have a care in the world. He had two great companions, you know.
And they were both clearly happy to be with him.
And they were all happy together. Yeah.
And, like, at that point, nobody betrayed him yet, because immediately after that scene, the eunuchs go crazy.
Yep.
Speaking of, I think, Mud, you actually pointed this detail out, but the little attention to detail with the production design, where the city is super clean and pristine, and then when the eunuchs are expelled, the city gets dirtier and dirtier every scene.
Yep.
Because there's nobody cleaning it up.
Yep.
I love that detail. I was like, wow, that's such like another, like, a film production might not think to have done that because of, like, natural in-universe consequences to their story details, but, like, that's just so pitch perfect. Just love
Yeah,
that.
they're playing out, like, there's grass overgrowing the bricks. It's
Yes.
like, someone's getting decapitated for that normally.
Big time. Yep.
You know?
There's no one left to decapitate.
I speaking of the companions, though. Sorry, before I'm a little scrambled because there's so much to talk
There's
about.
so much to talk about.
there's
I
a
didn't
lot
think
of
there would
fun.
be, but there really is.
There's another great moment when he's first meeting his first wife, and, like, they're, like, embracing, and there's that, like, moment where they start getting, like, stripped. I really liked that scene because you don't see who's doing it. You just see these hands come in from on side and just start, like, pulling their clothes and their accessories apart, and it feels so invasive because, like, you're like, who the fuck is touching me right now? Like, I only want my wife grabbing my balls. But, like, that's the point.
Yep.
Is, like, even when he's trying to be alone, even during what should be an intimate moment, he is not alone. He has servants. She has servants. They're waiting. They're doing so much for him.
Yep. Absolutely. And there's so much here, like, in terms of, like, character development and, like, set design. This is why I want all the technicals. All the technicals are on fucking point. Um, I'm big
Seriously.
into this. There's a scene I mentioned it earlier. I want to touch on it now. It's the handshake where the first time they meet, and then towards the end, it's Peter Cushing, Peter fucking O'Toole's final scene with him. The handshake callback before they bid each other farewell. That handshake only occurred twice. The first time those characters met in the film, and then the final time they're together before they leave, and they're never together on screen before. After
That's
that
really
point.
good.
I love that little detail. It feels like a throwaway joke when they first meet. They shake way too long, and they both start laughing.
Yeah.
But the callback to that, you don't expect it to be a setup. It's just a funny moment. But the callback is so earned unexpectedly by doing that.
There's another callback to it in a different way when he is spending the first night with his wife. And she's like, oh, you don't want a traditional girl, you want a modern girl. And then she just shakes his hand and says goodnight.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the little details. There's so
a
much
lot
to
of-
break down.
Sorry, there's a lot of little callbacks in this movie.
Yeah.
Cricket.
Oh,
Oh,
dude.
man, the
we
cricket's the biggest
we
one.
can't talk. I got so many thoughts about that scene. We can't talk about
We'll talk about the ending later.
Oh,
That's
dude,
like a
the ending's
whole...
so good.
There's so much to talk about with that.
But-
Can I just say too?
yeah.
One of the most, I don't want to say haunting, but like strange, I guess, scenes in the film is when they're kicking the units out and they present them back their balls.
They have to be married as full men.
Wild.
Yep.
Those things are gone, right? Like they've rotted in the bag.
So sad. They probably preserved them, which is even weirder to think
That
about.
is even weirder because then they're not going to rot in the ground. Then you dig these guys up and there's just two perfectly preserved balls
Here
That's
are
the
your
way to go, though.
on a skeleton.
That's the way to... When
But
archaeologists dig you up in
In
1,000
that
years,
scene,
just your
Ian,
balls
you
are
make
intact.
a good point because earlier in the film, Pu Yi's brother is like, "Oh, I can wear yellow even though it's the Emperor's color because you're not really the Emperor anymore." In that scene, when Pu Yi is kicking out all the Emperors, he is dressed head to toe in imperial yellow.
Yeah.
He is making a statement. He is saying,
Only
"I
time
am
in
the
film he's
Emperor."
always an emperor.
And the best part about that is in that scene, he makes specific note that he didn't actually have the power to kick all the eunuchs out and had to ask the Republic of China's army to assist him.
Mm-hmm.
Even in that moment where he is trying to
outnumbered,
project
yeah.
strength, he did not have power. He never has power throughout this entire movie. And I think that's so fucking
A
fascinating.
lot of a facade of power in the film.
A lot of
He's
the
a-
facade
He's
of
a
power.
puppet from when he's born to
Almost.
almost when he dies.
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. He never actually has a semblance of power outside of the Forbidden City at the first half. Like, he never
in the
has any
Forbidden
power.
City, it's
Yeah.
people telling him what to do and say. He says it
That's
himself.
says
true.
it.
That's true. He has a lot of power in the Forbidden City, but he can't leave the Forbidden City. He can't do certain things to certain people. He can't see anybody. He can't see his mother. He's rushed right out of the city.
He couldn't go see his mother when she died.
When she died, for fuck's sake. So they tell him he has power. They tell him he's the emperor, but in reality, his entire life is this
Being told.
unnoteworthy thing that nobody's going to remember or care about.
And we'll get to it.
And we'll get to it. And I love that ending. But, yeah.
Oh, and the parallel when he's working in Manchuria
Mm-hmm.
and fucking the doors shut and they're the same red doors that closed off the
Yeah, I
Forbidden
wrote that
City.
down.
Yeah.
And he's just like, open the doors.
Yep.
Like,
It's
no
just-
matter where he goes, it's the same fucking
It's the
prison.
same exact thing. It's still a facade of power, and they again say it in that like educational propaganda video.
Yep, they call him a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
I love that part because he stands up and he's like, "What?" It's like, dude, come on, you knew.
You knew. You didn't, like,
He didn't know.
consciously, you subconsciously knew.
No, you had to, like, yeah, on some level you had to have
You
known.
had to have known.
And it's so great watching him, like, there's one bit while he's Emperor of Manchuria where he's, like, clearly actually trying to be in charge of something, anything. And everyone just
Shaking.
gets up and walks out on him
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
nobody takes him seriously.
And then when he's about to appoint the prime minister, they say, "You forgot to sign this." He goes, "No." He's shaking.
Yeah, because he's never actually stood up to anyone in his life.
Yep.
He hasn't had to.
Yep. I like this movie, mostly the first half, as a metaphor for adolescence. That's kind of how I interpreted it, where you're young and all you think about is growing up. That's him in the Forbidden City, wanting nothing but to leave the damn city. But once he does, his life takes a long downward spiral to the point where he's this jaded, depressed shell of a man. No political power, no army of people serving his whim, no wives, no bitches. But there's no such thing as going backward. You can't go back to the Forbidden City. It's a one-way trip out of there. But case in point, when he does, it's a museum, and everyone that he loves and cares about is either in the ground or being mocked in that fucking parade that he almost got fucking mocked in. It was a whole thing that's like his entire thing at that point is like time moves on. That also ties into the ending, which Mud is exploding at the seams to talk about.
Dude, it's such a good ending.
But yeah, no, I took that as like this is kind of a metaphor for that. I also wrote down, and I don't know if this is like a note or anything, but it's a talking point. He downgrades in tandem with what I'm talking about from emperor to playboy to puppet leader to guy with one wife instead of two to guy with 0 wives instead of 1 to war criminal to suicide craver to gardener. And then he vanishes.
I like how gardener's a step down from suicidal. Like, you would rather want to kill yourself than work in a garden.
Listen, he is the emperor of a couple of plants. Big deal. But, and then he is a literal ghost. So we'll get there when we get there. But, yeah, that's kind of how I saw it.
Yeah, it's a constant downward trajectory.
Straight up
Just
downward.
like normal life is.
So when he's a kid in that Forbidden City, that is, in fact, the best his life ever will be. So I know the movie isn't literally saying this, but when the people are preventing him from leaving the fucking city, a part of that is like, you don't want to leave the city. Once you do, it just gets worse and worse for you.
I mean, it's more like everything sucked everywhere for him.
Yes. It just, I think it sucked the absolute least in the entirety of his upbringing.
Well, like we said, there was that scene, like the threesome scene. That is probably the peak of his life. That was
100%.
probably the best his life ever was.
Yes, 100%. Absolutely. Yep. And then from there, as soon as the eunuchs burned down the storage situation, mind you, that was a direct response to the first actual putting his foot down moment as a leader.
Yep.
Where he's like, you know what? Fine, I'll step up and I'll actually be a leader. You know what? The first thing I'm going to do, the first thing, take an inventory check on the things, which isn't even that big of a deal.
I'm going to take an
And the
inventory.
people
If you guys
already
didn't
reject
steal
him.
anything, it won't be a problem.
The people
They stole
already
stuff.
reject him. Already, I guess you can call that a revolution, like a small like insurgency right there. They already
It's
straight
an
up do not listen to him.
insurgency.
Yeah, straight up, they do not listen to him. His one first fucking command, and then from there it just goes down and down and
Yeah,
down.
because he never has any actual political power. Like,
Yep.
it's not even about Pu Yi losing political power. He never has it.
He never did. He
There's
never
always
did.
a facade of it,
Yeah,
but it's never really
and it's
there.
fascinating because you see, like, he has this belief in himself well into his life. There's a scene when he's in the Reformation prison, and he's in his cell, and like people in his cell are still serving him because they're like, "Oh, that's the Emperor of China," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the Emperor of China," like, you know.
Yep.
And like I find it interesting that he still has kind of, I guess I would say, the audacity in his 40s to be like, "You didn't put my toothpaste on my toothbrush."
Yeah, what
Yeah.
a dick.
Fuck you, do it yourself.
I love that because like the scene where he's giving that speech about like, no, I'm not going to sign this because of this that's the next scene where he's going to actually try and put his foot down and be a political leader, and half the room fucking walks out.
The entire room walked out.
Yeah, the first half.
They walked
and
out
then-
in two halves,
and then
but
the second
everyone
half
walked out on him.
And that's like every single time that he tries to actually man up and be a fucking emperor and be a leader, the world around him just rejects him over and over again.
He never has, like, he is never the man he thinks he should be.
Yes.
And I find that so fascinating because even at the end of the movie, the question is, has he really made peace with himself? Because even at the end, when he's just a humble gardener, people still won't listen to him. He's like, "Hey, this is a good man," and they're like, "Shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here."
Get out of
You're
here.
either with us or
Only
get the
F
fuck
bomb,
out.
only F bomb in the film because it's PG-13.
It's an
Tell him to
extreme.
fuck off.
It's an extreme version of the prior scenes where he's trying to assert his power, gets kicked back. It just gets more, it's bigger and bigger consequences, you know, because burning down the thing, I guess with nobody inside isn't that bad. And then the second scene where his political move alienated everyone and started his next downward spiral. And then, of course, the final scene where they like shove him back, low-key assault him, and then fucking bully his friend. So like, you know, it's just worse and worse and worse. And I don't know, I love the thematic, what that's actually trying to say about him and his story.
It's
you know?
it's an almost 3-hour long psychological breakdown of this guy
Yes.
who is told that he is the shit his entire early,
But
like,
he
formative
never
years,
really is the shit.
and then just several decades of having the belief in himself be just torn down to nothing.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a interesting story, but also character study at the same time.
Yeah.
Compared among the other 3-hour Best Picture winners we've seen and talked about, it is among the better of them, simply by virtue of the fact that it never feels like it's dragging, which
No.
half of the other ones kind of do.
No, it went pretty quickly.
You know, it always keeps you invested. We already talked about like that at the start and stuff, but like I was just blown away. I was really impressed. We went into this, I think it was off recording, but we were both just like, or all three of us were just like, I don't know, this might be a big boring fest.
I was ready for it. I was like, this is gonna be great.
It had the
I believed
potential
it. I believed
to
in it.
be boring.
It did.
I believed in it. Let the record show I believed in it. I
If
was
you
like,
told me
let's do
Shang
it.
Tsung was in it, I would have liked it better.
Yeah. You know what I really liked from the first half of this film? I think we're wrapping up our thoughts on the first half.
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like we're going that way. I really liked the scene with the cloth that I was talking about earlier, because all the kids fall away and the Emperor Puyi, he's just like kind of rolling back and forth on the cloth with all these other kids on the other side like pressing into him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a beautiful scene because like earlier in the movie he talks about he doesn't have any friends, and every time that the eunuchs are chasing him, they always kind of like pause, like they're always behind him with their hands up, but they won't like move up to him. And it's like, dude, no one holds this kid, no one touches this kid. And it's just this great scene of he's just kind of reveling in getting effectively fucking manhandled. Like he's getting palmed in the face.
Yep.
You know, like these kids are slapping the shit out of him through this piece of cloth. But like to him, that's bliss, because it's like, when's the last time he really like just kind of like embraced anyone?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when's the last time he like touched another human being
Yep.
in like any sort of just like casual way? You know, like I fucking slap Ian on the balls all the time.
That's true. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've
that's
witnessed
fair.
that account.
Listen, I have sack tapped you accidentally at least twice.
And on purposely.
Call of the Wild.
And on purpose.
It was the most enjoyable part.
It was the funniest part of that movie. But like even just watching this movie, when we were cracking jokes, me and Ian would fist bump over here like, oh, that was funny. You know, I almost just punched Ian in the face making a point about that because we're sitting very close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's one of those things that you know, you as like a normal person, like can you even comprehend the idea of like no one giving you like a hug or like even like patting you on
high
a
five,
high
pat
five,
on the
anything,
shoulder. Yeah.
Mhm.
anything, any sort of human contact
Yep.
outside of like, I don't know, like dressing and undressing you until the age of like 9.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a weird thing.
Yeah.
So I spent a long time formulating an opinion on the flash forward scenes being interwoven with the story.
Yeah.
And I was really back and forth, like, as it was going throughout. I ended up really liking it by the end for two big reasons. One, when he's older, most of the movie is dark and gray and much more glum visually. I ended up loving how, at the very end of the modern day scenes, the old version of the character is back inside the beautiful, colorful Forbidden City, now turned into a museum. You get that contrast, because the first half is young him growing up and things are a lot brighter, literally and figuratively. And then the second half, darker, literally and figuratively. And then the very end, you get the lowest, oldest version of this character with nothing left and nobody left, returning back to that bright area, and it's just a shell of its former self, just like he is. And I kept imagining other versions of this movie where it's all in order, and I would hate the pacing of that version. That would not be as watchable.
I think what I don't like about the flash forwards, very minor thing, but I don't like that most of them are just basically framing devices for the flashback. There's a few that are actually just straight up like scenes of him in prison,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish we got more of that. Because a couple of them, like it would be like a scene from him from his childhood, and then it would cut to the prison, and he would do something, and then he'd go, "Oh, Johnston," and then it would be a whole like 40-minute flashback with Johnston,
Mm-hmm.
and it felt like those were just being used as like a framing device. And it would be fine if it was one framing device at the start of the film, and then flashed back, and then caught up to where it was, but it was several.
I think it's a cool juxtaposition to have him as a prisoner of the state, and then also him be a prisoner of the city,
Yes.
He's always a prisoner.
right?
Yep.
I like that a lot, but I want to have a small complaint about the second half. There's a lot of long time jumps that it feels like the first part of the film is very meticulous and well thought out, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's like 6, 11, 25.
Yes, the last like
Yeah.
45 minutes jumped like
I
decades.
think it's 10 and then 8 actually.
They jump many, many years at a time.
No, it's 16 because he gets captured in like if it was 45, the end of the war, to 59 is when he gets out. 14-ish years between when he gets captured and then when he gets let out. I will say in a mild defense of that, they do straight up say he's been in prison for 10 years. So like,
Yeah.
we did get a fair few scenes of that. So those can be kind of conceived as like spread throughout the 10 years he was in prison.
That's fair.
But then after he gets out of prison, he just jumps straight to the last year of his life.
yeah.
I will agree with that. Especially, it kind of contrasts a little poorly with that final scene. And also, like, his brother gets out of prison. His brother's always there, but I feel like we don't know a fucking thing about him.
Yeah.
That's a good point. He's really relevant in that scene in the first half where he says you're not the real emperor.
Yeah,
But that's
like
about
the
it.
most relevant scene he has.
Yeah.
And then like they kind of have to keep constantly pointing out like, hey, this is Pyu Yi's brother, who he's standing here, and you're like, it is? Where the fuck did he go?
Yep.
And then you remember, oh, he never left.
Yep.
He's just always around. It just doesn't seem that way because he's not doing anything.
His scenes weren't that
Like you
relevant.
can, aside from the scene where he's told you're not emperor anymore, you can cut Pyu Yi's brother out of this movie. And I think maybe because his brother, that kid, was a consultant on this movie.
Yep.
I think maybe that's why he's in it so much. They had to be like, we can't like
Not
not
put him
put
in
the
there.
guy who's
Yeah.
helping us work on this film.
I-
Or maybe
Right,
he
yeah.
was like, I was totally there when that happened.
I really like him in the first half.
Yes.
And I really think he's useless in the second half.
I think it's mostly because in the second half, especially once he gets out of prison, if he's not there, Pyu Yi has no one to talk to.
Yeah. I guess that's a good point. I don't know. I still agree with both of you guys though, that he could be utilized more in the second half.
Yeah.
Mostly towards the end.
Especially as Pyu Yi's, excuse me, especially as Pyu Yi's wives leave the narrative.
Yes.
Because his inner circle is shrinking. I feel like your brother's a pretty good candidate for the inner circle.
Yeah.
You know, your closest confidants. And like the scene when he's like, oh, I've never been separated from my family. It's like, haven't you though? Oh yeah, your brother's always around. Never mind.
But that means his family is important to him. And that's why I also don't like, there's one other thing, that his wife, she gets back and then,
She just disappears from the narrative.
yeah. And like, I get that he also gets imprisoned for a while, but like, you'd think after that point, you'd be like, well, we'd at least know if she's dead. We don't
know the fate of either of his wives. One of them just straight up leaves.
The one who leaves him, I understand not knowing the fate of because she left his story. That's gone. But the wife that he married, she came back and they see each other in the face, and then she's not in the film again after that. I would have at least liked to know if she died and that's why she's not there.
And
something.
I liked her story too. I liked how, because think about her perspective, where it's like she's of one of two, but a wife that marries an emperor, you don't have to like worry about anything. You have to worry about working or money or what. You guys are just happy together. You just support him while he does emperor shit. And then once they're expelled from the city and things start the downward trajectory, it's a completely different lifestyle, a completely different dynamic. Suddenly, all of the real problems that everyone else has in the world are now your problems, and you never expected to have any of that shit. So, of course, she's gonna have a crisis of like faith, like of what the hell am I doing? What should I even be here? My best friend is gone. It was the other wife, and a lot of people in that position, they resort to fucking drugs. I know people like that.
The thing is, with that, I want to talk about this. The only reason she resorted to drugs in the first place was the spy lady whose name we never...
Eastern Jewel.
Yes.
She poisons her throughout the entire thing on behalf of the Japanese person she's working for.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's a spy. That entire thing, she didn't turn to it. She was forced into it.
She was addicted by someone else.
Yes. Because you even see that in the scene where she weirdly sucks her feet.
Well, she was clearly looking for like an answer, like a way back to happiness. You know?
Yes, but she was given it by a
Of course.
It was still
traitor
done
to-
with the intention
Yes.
of.
Of
It was
course,
literally done with the intention of sabotaging Pyu Yi. So I think that aspect is very very interesting.
It is.
That
it
is-
It's a
that
great
is
story. It's a
good
great
What
subplot.
part
I
of the
like
story.
about this is given that he is such a central figure to this era of Chinese politics, which was a lot, by the
Yeah,
way.
yup.
We were talking about this, Jake, at one point. We were talking about like Mao and stuff and the rise of communism in China. And you were like, yeah, that's like one of the worst things that happened to China during this time period. And I was like, yeah, and that's saying something
It
because they had a
is.
pretty shit 1900s.
Yep.
Just start to finish.
That's how you know it's really, really bad.
And it's fascinating to view that through this movie.
Yes.
You know, you're watching the about 60 years of Chinese history through the lens of a guy who's like the last emperor.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just got the title.
Oh, it's because
It's
he's
the
the last
last
emperor.
Oh, yeah. Imagine not getting the title. What else would it mean?
Another small note about a thing I dislike in this film. I wrote down blackface.
I also wrote down blackface.
Yeah.
Okay, but we'll clarify it.
It's not blackface in the process of, oh my God, they're trying to make these white people black. It's blackface in the scene they were in. That was the thing that was happening because it was like the 30s.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was
is
still like
accurately depicting a time
Time
and a
period.
context. Yeah.
It
But-
did, in fact, startle me though. I was
it
like,
was
what
like
the hell?
holy shit.
Yeah.
It
When
is
was the last
scary,
time we saw
yes.
blackface in a best picture winner?
Yeah,
Like the
that's what I'm
40s?
saying. No,
It's been a while. Was
yeah.
all- was
but
my
they all
point.
played it off like these are actual black people. Haha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. Definitely.
No, I have a lot of my positives talked about, to be quite honest, just in general.
I have a few more tiny things, and then we can get into the big thing, which is the ending. I
Yeah. The
think.
last note I have is the ending.
So first off, I don't know. Maybe this is me reading too far into it, but I really like how the teenage version of Pu Yi has a very thick and pronounced Chinese accent, whereas the two before him don't have that, because that's when he's interacting with Johnston. And it's kind of the film saying that the rest of the movie was Chinese that's just being translated into English, but this is him actually speaking English.
Yep.
It's subtle. Like they don't
It is a really
put it in
good-
your face.
yeah.
I love
but
that.
to me, that's really good filmmaking.
Yes. It's great. I
You
love
know?
when movies do
'Cause,
that and they
like,
don't have
no.
to clarify it.
Yeah.
You just know it because it's
Because
subtle.
like of course these people aren't actually speaking fucking English. It's China in 1908 people.
Yeah.
But like it's the film understanding of like, you know, short of actually casting all Chinese actors who can speak Chinese and like, you know, we're still a good 32 years out from an actual foreign language film winning Best Picture.
Yep.
So the conceit is they are speaking Chinese. The movie's just being translated into English for you. It's like similar thing with Tolkien put a foreword at like the start of Lord of the Rings where he's like, this isn't actually written in English. It's written in their language. I'm just translating it into English.
Right.
One could assume that this is Peter O'Toole's character's book of
It
what
is.
going
Well,
on.
this movie is based on that book. It's based on
So-
Twilight.
One of that could be the assumption, and it's obviously translated to English because that's how he wrote it.
Yep.
Yep.
It's
Very
great.
good.
It all fits. It all
Excellent. Excellently
all
done.
fits. What else do I have? Oh, I have a note that just says Matrix ass fit because when he leaves when they leave the Forbidden City, he is dressed like he's in the he's
He
dressed
is.
like Neo in the Matrix 2.
He's dressed like the one.
He really is.
So it swept all 9 nominations.
It did.
I'm just gonna real quick sound them off: picture, director, screenplay, production design, cinematography, costume design, editing, score, and sound. All deserved. Every single one. I haven't seen all the other nominees in the categories. I'm just saying, like, it did not slack in any of those categories.
I'm gonna
It-
say-
I'm
gonna
happy
say
that it
it's
has
still-
those Oscars.
And you guys might not agree with me. You might agree with me. Good Morning Vietnam's still a better film.
Oh,
Never
it's the
seen
best
it.
movie of the year. Yes, it's better than this movie. 100%. It's not even nominated for Best Picture this year, I don't think.
I've never even.
There was some voter fatigue.
Yeah.
Vietnam voter fatigue.
This
Too many
is the
Vietnam
best
It
movie.
did just win.
Vietnam is the best movie in 1987. I'm
Vietnam's
correct.
the best.
I'm correct. I'm just a correct person. You're just not correct if you don't think so.
Yeah.
But yes,
I don't even know if this would be my top 5 1987.
It
I
would be
actually
for
don't
me.
know.
it would probably be for me. I'd have to
Easy
really
top
think about
five.
it.
I'd say top 5 easy. I don't know about top 3 though.
I'd say top 10 easy. There's a lot of 87 movies that are really, really good.
Yeah, that's my thing. There's a lot of films that came out this year that are excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are they like as historically like, whoa, big? No. But like for me personally, There's a couple.
I mean, just looking at this, just looking at my list of
That's a
movies that came
Spaceballs,
out this year,
right?
Yeah,
Like,
Oh,
like
Spaceballs
I'm not
is better.
kidding. I'd put Spaceballs in my top 3.
Me too.
Fucking Living Daylights would be up there, no joke.
Predator. I love Predator.
Wall Street, we talked about that earlier. Untouchables, Empire of the Sun. Ooh, maybe it wouldn't be top 5.
no,
I'm
that's
just
what I'm
saying.
saying.
It's probably top 10. I'm just gonna say it.
No,
you
it's
know?
easy top 10.
Easy
I would
top
say,
10.
top 10 is a lot more
Reasonable.
palatable.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's a great movie. It
Because
deserves to be on
like
the top of the list.
you got Full Metal Jacket in there too.
Oh my
I
God,
fuck
Full
with
Metal Jacket.
Good Morning Vietnam's up there. Predator. I'm a big fan of RoboCop and Running Man. I know Running Man's cheesy, but like it's a guilty pleasure movie for me. Like there's a lot. Raising Arizona came out this year.
Yeah, I know, dude. This is a tough year, but
Lost Boys.
let's focus up. Let's focus up. We're almost done.
Do we want to get to the ending?
I don't know if there's much left for me to say.
Let's talk about the ending.
All right.
Wow.
So good.
Very
It's so
powerful.
good. So brilliantly
I
done.
super fuck with the thing that it's from the beginning of the film.
One of the first
when
things
he's
that
a
happened to him.
child, where he gets coronated to the public of the city
Public.
as the emperor, and he goes cricket, and which it looks like a grasshopper. It doesn't even look like a cricket, but that's besides the point. And he goes, now it's the emperor's cricket, and
Yeah.
you never see it again. And then 2.5 hours later, he goes, you're not supposed to be here. He goes, I lived here. He goes, prove it. It's the fucking cricket.
Yeah, that little
And
kid.
you go, it's been 45 or 50 years. It's not fucking there. And then he opens up the cricket holder. The cricket crawls out. And Puyi is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, it was the first time the movie broke internal logic and went 100%
It was.
fantasy.
It's the only time it like delves into like I would call mysticism.
Right, absolutely.
It's like, did that just happen? Is Puyi a ghost in this scene? What the fuck was that?
I
So-
will admit, even though I love the ending, it felt a little jarring in contrast.
I
with the rest
get
of the
no.
movie.
In the moment, you're like, wait, what the fuck just happened? I really like it though because it's just like, I don't know. It's just like for a last brief moment. For a moment, he is actually what is it? The son of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
He is actually the emperor. He is actually this holy figure, this larger than life figure, and all he's doing is kind of like he's doing like fucking close up magic for this little kid.
Yep.
You know?
I interpreted it a little bit as a title, as like a figurehead thing, where because the entire film is about his like puppet legacy, that is the one moment of he actually was to someone, right? He's telling someone that, and as somebody believes him, it's like a history book kind of thing. It's like, and in this moment, he's gone. That's his thing. And that point to me gets backed up when all the tourists come in and they detail him quickly, and that's it. Like a bookend to the story of that's Puyi. He was the last emperor. Done. In that part, he is Puyi. He was the last emperor. That is the cricket of proof. And then he is gone. Poof. History over.
Yep.
I love that kind of symbolism. It's like I said, it's a bookend to that part of the chapter of history, which is all he ended up boiling down to be in a respect.
You know what else is fascinating that I just thought of? And I might be totally wrong about this. That scene where he finds the cricket, it starts with him on the throne, and then he gets up and he goes down, he gets the cricket. Do we ever see him in that throne again? I don't think we do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we ever see him sit in that specific throne
I think
at any other point throughout the film.
I think he does when he is selecting a wife.
No, he's in like his office.
I'm pretty sure there's another scene on there.
He's at the throne when he selects the wife. I don't know if he sits in it.
Yeah,
But-
because it's that room.
Either
I remember
way,
it's that room.
I really like the bookend nature of that and how he finally sat back on the old museum throne that serves no actual purpose, nor did it ever, in the context of
Yeah.
the movie story. Anyway, it did generations prior, obviously, but yeah.
And to bring up your point, Jake, that scene when he sits down on the throne is bathed in golden light.
Yep. And it's in stark contrast to the second half of the movie being, the real reality outside of the walls of the Forbidden City that he's now just super downward spiraled into, shell of a man. But it's a shell of a place. He comes back and it itself is also a shell of what it used to be.
Very hollowed out.
It's all hollowed out,
There's
just like
nothing in
him.
there.
There's nothing left.
Again, to point out how excellent the lighting in this film is. The lighting during the traditional things, it's vibrant, bright, just really colorful.
Yes.
When he's in the prison and the flash forwards, it's brutalist almost.
Yes.
It's gray,
Depressing.
dull, depressing.
Blue, cold.
When he goes back, and I want to, like I said, during that scene where he's in that Japanese emperor's room, there is golden swaths when he's talking about becoming the emperor, but the background we notice is that dull shining blue.
Yeah.
So it's both. In the end of the film, when he is in the museum, it is still vibrant and colorful, but it's dulled except that golden shimmer on the throne.
Yep.
It is still real and dull because he's older and he's had that season and experience, but there is still that element of traditionalism, which to me is that history aspect again.
And then finally, after that happens, a modern day tourist group, in the 80s with modern clothes, comes through.
Yep.
And this tour guide is this is the throne of the emperors. The last emperor was Pu Yi. He was anointed when he was just 3 years old. He died in 1967. That's it.
Yep.
Nothing else is said about him.
Yeah. Not how he ruled, not how he did anything.
Not about his
not about
puppet
his
legacy.
puppets, not about
his
his
time in
wives.
Manchuria.
Nothing.
Reform camp, nothing. And I think that is so fucking powerful because, like you said at the start of this, Jake, his is a story worth being told. And it's so awesome to see that in his house with people there to see where he used to live. His story is not being told.
Yeah.
And it kind of breaks your heart a little bit.
Yes.
Of just after everything this guy went through, his legacy is that he got anointed super young.
Spent a lot of his life in prison, for fuck's sake.
He spent his whole life in prison. He spent his whole life in prisons. Mentally, physically, emotionally, everything kept him down. And it's just it's kind of a downer, honestly.
It is.
This movie is kind of a downer. Nothing goes this guy's way. Everyone leaves him.
Yep.
He died. The end. And you're just well, fuck.
I think that's one of the reasons the ending is so strong, because it's in contrast to the second half of the movie.
And making that little kid, just for a second, believe in the Emperor.
Yes. Yes,
That's
it's so fun.
It's just that one little bit of, ray of sunshine. And then the movie's just no one remembers him. Bye. And it's just well, fuck me.
Literally.
Yeah.
I just watched 2 hours and 40 minutes of this man just having his worldview shattered and broken over and over.
So
Yep.
I just slotted it. It is number 16 for me in terms of the entire list, just beneath Ordinary People, another movie I really,
you mean the
really
best
appreciated.
one?
I was between 8 and 9 for a score. I'm gonna stick with a conservative 8 just to be safe, because the first half is 9, and the second half is 7 or 8 maybe. So kind of together, I kind of regard it as an 8. So that's kind of where I am right now. It's super strong, super powerful, excellent movie. I'd recommend it to anybody. It is a worthy entry in the Best Pictures list, and it stacks up fairly well in the list of the best and worst Best Pictures, ranked best to worst.
I'm really glad I didn't go first because I was a little scared. Right, we're talking about how much we love it. We're talking about that, and I'm yeah, but I'm thinking I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm
it's strong. It's great. It's a great movie.
I do have a little bit of an issue with the time jumps in the end. His brother, we don't know about his wife.
I care about his wife. That's my thing.
There's ends of this story that don't get met. There are loose threads that I want to know about, and I think it's partly indicative of the fact that I'm interested in this character. I'm invested in this character. And there are things that I feel should have been told that are important to him and the story that weren't told. I also give it an 8 right now. For me, I think it's right above Amadeus, but right below In the Heat of the Night.
Okay.
I am going to go 1 point higher than you guys. I'm going to give this film a 9. It would be a 10 if it didn't have the exact same problems that Ian just talked about. It is my number 13 film right now. It is above In the Heat of the Night, but it is below All About Eve.
Interesting. Mine's not far from In the Heat or Eve. I think we all have oddly similar lists, but jumbled.
Well, we do have oddly similar tastes in film.
It's
Of course, I am still missing 8 entries.
It's
True.
22nd on my list.
Good Lord.
Oh God.
But
That's
hey,
the
you know
whole
what?
thing.
That just speaks to how many good films we've watched. That at number 8 is a 22.
Am I really gonna put it above like Platoon and I have Lawrence of Arabia above it?
Yep.
Like, you know,
I have
those
Platoon
are-
above this as well. Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah.
You know, I put. You know what's funny? I ultimately slotted it in below All About Eve because All About Eve has better character work, and that's like our main. That was the main thing we really liked about All About
That
I
Eve.
have
movie
it
is a
barely
character
above All
arc.
About Eve.
Dude, All About Eve is so.
It's such a good.
All right.
fucking movie.
Before we gush about All About Eve again, because we have like 4 other episodes where we talk about All About Eve.
I gave it a 9 at the time. I've since given it the 10th 10.
I
Fucking
respect
love
that.
that
I
movie.
respect that. I think that was mostly just because the like was it like the 2 or 3 that followed All About Eve sucked so much that we just kept talking about All About
Yeah.
Eve.
Well, also recency bias the other way. I wanted to give it time. I've given it time. It's
I'm
awesome.
giving it time. That movie's amazing.
It's fucking amazing.
Fair.
So yeah, what's up next, Jacob?
Oh, well, I will tell you, Mudward. It is actually the 61st Best Picture winner ever.
61. Can you guys believe it?
Uh-huh.
We're
almost over the 80s, for fuck's sake. The next one is Rain Man, baby.
with
And-
Tom Cruise. He's in the news.
And Cocktail with Tom Cruise.
He's in the news.
He keeps airstriking countries, and we don't know how to stop him.
All right.
This
I'm gonna
is the first time, I believe, and maybe the last and first ever, where the lead of both the best and worst is the same person. This
We'll
is-
find
this is
out.
Breaking new ground, baby.
So the
Double
best
Cruise.
The best one is still Ordinary People, and the worst one is still Gigi. And the best worst picture is
We have to
Don't
do that.
laugh!
Not the
I am
question.
laughing because it's pathetic.
the best one is Leonard Part 6.
Ugh. No, the best one is
The
One Flew Over
worst
the
one's
Cuckoo's
Under
Nest.
the Cherry Moon.
The best one is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and the worst one is Tom Jones. The the best worst picture is Mommy Dearest with a 3 out of 10, and the worst is Bolero.
The best picture is The Godfather. The worst best picture is The Greatest Show on Earth. The best worst picture is Mommy Dearest, and the worst picture is Howard the Duck.
Can I defend myself?
No,